feel free to stop me anytime you want by shouting, because everything else will be complicated to read. So yeah, let's go. So it's quite an interesting concept, which I first designed like a year ago, and we have it almost implemented on one of the projects. So yeah, configurable OMS process. I hope pretty much everybody is aware how useful is and handy is our OMS module in Spryker, with which you design processes for your orders processing. Wait a sec. Okay. First of all, I want to say that this functionality is not yet planned to be included in any future Spryker Cloud Commerce OS. It means that what I will tell you now is just a nice thing which was designed, which you may use if you want, but there is no code, no promises from our side as a company to deliver to any of the projects. Yeah, shortly about me. Actually, thanks, Andreas. I always forget about this slide, so I saw it on your presentation and edited it myself here. So I'm in Spryker since ages. Like I joined in June 2016, when we were a really small family of almost company. But with web development, I'm since 2004. Yeah, I'm that old, like turning 41 next year. And me, myself, I love bicycles, water sports, yeah, like activities. I hate running, if somebody asked before. So, short plan about today. I will shortly explain, let's say, question asked myself, why we even need this OMS processes? How do we handle multi-payment methods? Guido, okay. If you ask my daughters about age, yes, 41 is old. Sorry.
Damn it.
Then I will explain to you what do I call configurable OMS process. Shortly guide you through the way how it looks and works. Share with you a couple of technical details and present you a short demo. Q&A is in the end, but technically it's everywhere whenever you have any question. So, yeah, well, I will repeat myself, but OMS process, as we Spryker see it today, is aimed to handle inside the state of your order, and particularly your order items, from very beginning after the order was placed until the very, very end when the order is being either exported or returned, or some products are returned back to us because customer didn't like it. And it's usually really huge. Our experience shows that decent projects have at least 20 states for one item lifecycle, and the more complicated, it could jump up to hundreds of states. And then every project has, most of projects, let's call them every, they usually have quite a few payment methods, shipment methods. And we know how to handle this. You create sub-processes like credit card, Pay1, PayPal, and then you join them into the main process. You may have some conditions here or there, and your process gets bigger, bigger, and bigger. So what happens next? Next, you have, again, several shipment methods. I've chosen here the famous German ones, DHL, UPS, Hermes. And then if you want to make everything a bit more readable, you create a lot of main processes like credit card DHL, credit card UPS, credit card Hermes, etc. And this actually explodes. And it actually forces you to use only the permitted pairs. So if tomorrow you will add one more shipment method, I don't know, delivery by bicycle, you will have to repeat the same for credit card, PayPal, and PayPal. But then the mess starts to grow, because once you have changes in payment to delivery method, you have to bump up the version of them, and it goes even more complicated. And also you have to keep in sync the statuses of your sub-processes, where the payment ends, where the shipment starts, etc., etc. Like really, like probably for me, who loves OMS, it's quite okay, but regular developers, especially the new joiners, they may just spend a week digging into the process to figure out in which state something is broken. So, any alternatives? Well, yeah. We can move. Some projects actually go in the idea number 2. They're just moving some of the code into the PHP process. And that's the way your main process goes like smaller and smaller and smaller. Though the problem is that you cannot see the whole process on one screen. You have to draw it somewhere, and you have to again maintain them. Another option, if somebody of you worked with our marketplace solution, we have a nice approach how separate merchants can handle their orders via state machine, which syncs the important statuses from the state machine of the merchant into the main order management state machine. And yeah, fourth option is the one I will present you now, this so-called configurable OMS process. What's the idea? First, you design one generic process, as usual, and then you literally design sub-processes for each separated logical entity, like payment or shipment. Let me show you how it looks. To the right, you see I call it, in my example, global process. So you say that the whole process of the order will look like this. Order is placed, status new, then authorization for the payment starts, payment for the authorization ends, because like globally we don't really know and care what kind of authorization happens inside, though we know that the order is number 1. Then after authorization, we start so-called fulfillment. After fulfillment goes payment capture. After capture goes order export. What's important here is that this global generic-based process, it doesn't contain the transitions. Actually, as with usual regular process, your main process will contain only definitions of main statuses, and then sub-processes will take care of the transition between payment was started until payment was finished. Same as the rest. Yeah, that's how it's defined. And these states are kind of contracts which are supposed to be implemented, connected in the sub-processes, which will be used based on your order. For example, if we're talking about payment method pay on delivery, then this sub-process will contain just some like past transition from payment out started to payment out finished. I mean, for pay on delivery, we have no authorization that was required. For capture, we have some preparation, some capture. We have a couple of states and several transitions. Similar situation with pay one. So if we start counting, until now, we had to implement global sub-process 1, and here it's already 4 small sub-processes which are defining the processes for each payment method. Then we define the similar processes for fulfillment, one for delivery with Hermes, one for delivery with DHL. And we have, in my example, one global export, which is CSV1. Then happens place order magic. When you place the order, you always know that your order will be paid by pay one, or maybe already was paid, and you have to process payment, that it will be delivered by DHL, and it will be exported by using CSV logic. So essentially, what you see on the slide is like everything which is kind of disconnected before, because the initial global process has no idea what kind of payment, export, or fulfillment process will be used. But during the order placement, whole magic happens. And based on the orders configuration, proper sub-processes are selected and bound together. And once the order is placed, magical process is created in the database. I will show you later technical details. And the order in the future will be processed with a state machine, which is the one that you defined based on all these configurations. So what is the difference with this approach and the common one which we are using on the projects? You don't have final state machine until the moment you have placed the order. Yeah, of course. In my proposal, you create new process. This 127365 is a hash of the sub-process used. That's why if two orders are placed with the same configuration, you will get, of course, the same process. Once something changes, hash is different, you go with a new version. Though you don't have obligation to maintain all the possible sets of delivery, shipment, export, payment methods. You care about the connectors, and that's it. Any questions here before I jump to technical details? I don't see anything in the chat, so yeah. Maybe I was too fast. I'm sorry. I love talking fast. Oh yeah, I was too fast, but still. Okay, it's silent. Then thank you guys for your thumbs up. Yeah, let's see how it looks in the database. I had a requirement to actually allow to function everything together. I mean, old approach and new approach, because you should understand that nobody is able to migrate from something super complicated from one complication not to another complication without a smooth transition. So the main table is fixed OMS order process. I added a new one table, which actually holds the relation between the main, like this, global 01, and the other processes, like regular many-to-many relation. Okay, now it's time to go to the presentation. First of all, I was not able to prepare a demo for actually placing the order, but I will show you the rest and hopefully you will see how it looks like. Yeah, let's go here. Yeah, unfortunately, I was not able. I'm struggling with this already for half a year. I still don't know how to draw our processes nicely, because here, like, it looks nice, but since the states are so dispersed on the page, It's really hard to read. Oh, I cannot zoom it here. Okay, if you're, let me show it here. I think it was here in the presentation. Yeah. So idea is the following. In back office, in our regular drawing command, you have the possibility to define sub-processes just on the fly in order to see how the final process will look like. So you define main processes usually, and then through the sub-process array, you pass any processes you want together. So we can start here, for example, like this. If I just go with default process, it's like this. Nothing fancy, with a lot of gaps. So payment was started, finished. There is a gap. The same goes with capture started, finished. The same goes with fulfillment and export. Then you like, oh, okay, I have already implemented export process. Perfect. You add this sub-process and the connection appears here. Yeah. Then once you have everything together, like payment and delivery, the whole picture is here. I didn't really design the validation process for this, though it's quite possible, because you know based on the, let me show you, based on the disconnected statuses in the global state machine, you are able to decide if the final process is complete or not. So from one step to another, we just drive quite easily. Then, when the order is placed, as I showed you here, so I faked, of course, this hashing, but so global 01, line 2, it's one process, which is pay 1 plus DHL delivery. And then there is global 011, which is pay on delivery plus Hermes. And as you see, like, absolutely different processes. And nice idea. Actually, I forgot that we are recording. Yeah, it will be smoother in my switch into slides. Let me open PHP Storm for you. Yes, you see it. Nice. So database. In database, I have all the processes registered. The same as sub-processes. So here they are together. It's not a problem for the Spryker, because when you create an order, you always have a foreign key to the process itself. So it's just the responsibility of the order placement functionality to make sure to use the proper name. As I said, my idea which we use is name of the main process plus the hash of the related sub-processes. And this is just our many-to-many relation, which you just built based on the functionality, which provides you the list of the sub-processes to use. I don't have here the demo how this decision is being made. Wait a second. But I can show. Can I? No, I cannot. Okay, let me just then explain you in the way, how I can make it here. So the idea behind the final process definition, like how do you decide which sub-processes to use based on the payment method pay1, or which processes to use based on the shipment method Hermes. My idea was that there is a plugin stack which is executed along with the main process selection. And each plugin, based on the order, says, okay, I need these sub-processes to be included in the final OMS process. And then they are magically converted into the processes in the database and cross-linked through the many-to-many relation of this OMS order sub-process table. And then the order is created. So essentially, with this functionality, we solved two problems on the project. First, there is no need to define out of the box all the combination, each payment method with each delivery method. And of course, you may multiply by everything else, like different exports, different imports, etc. Plus, since there is a contract between the global process and inclusions of each other sub-process, you are free to say that, okay, guys, your team is responsible for payment. Here are your contracts. You have to implement how the order is authorized, how the order is captured, and team is working on it absolutely independently, and you then just consume their sub-processes when the order is created. Of course, here it's super simple. In the real life, our main global process is way more complicated because of the cancellations flow, etc. Though it was possible to design this global process in the neatly way and provide other smaller chunks of it to be absolutely independently implemented. And yeah, performance-wise, you only lose a little bit of time during the order placement and tiny request to database to load sub-processes. Originally, you just read them from the XML. Otherwise, everything goes out of the box. Actually, wait a second. I think I even, since I didn't commit a thing, facade. So the idea, yeah. So essentially from the database, these sub-processes are just loaded from the database, and that's it. I mean, yeah, nothing really fancy here. Unfortunately, I should just admit that everything I have for you. Let's see if I have something here. Oh, I think the next will be a Q&A. Yeah. For those who said it like this idea, I actually originally designed something even bigger. For example, I had in mind that states would have a property interface type, like payment, like shipment, something else. Then, since validation is crucial and you don't want to have broken OMS process for your order, I had two things in mind: default target, and if there is no process which handles the transition from the state, we just create artificially one. And because of this, flag something like requires incoming transition, which actually forces this validation. Though we ended up not doing this at the moment, since it was decided it's not really giving us a value, since it's a nice improvement. So product-wise, I will definitely go with these improvements, but yeah, as for the projects, it's just nice. Yeah.